Jenny Mason. I first came across Jenny's content online, like most of us do, right? We're out there. She's with Moving Mortgage, and she's in the mortgage in real estate field, which I'm very much involved in. And the stuff she puts out, the things that she shares, it's a tough world out there. And especially if you've been watching what's going on in real estate, it's a really tough world out there, right? With mortgage and real estate. And what drew me in is that, even I'll even say it this way. She's like a lighthouse almost, right? It's dark. It's foggy. It's gloomy some days especially when you're online. But all of a sudden, her content came across. I was like, wow, that's cool. And then I started following and following and following. And she was like a light in the darkness that attracts so many of us because she brings hope. And the content she shares and the things she shares, it's just incredible. And I'm actually going to read her bio here real quick. And there we go. Jenny Mason is a connector coach. She's a hope dealer. She's an igniter, good finder, servant leading, relationship building, people encouraging, passion igniting, light bringing, value adding, market growing, recruiting leader. Now, she's a leader. We all know that there are bosses out there. There are people who manage. There are people who make, hey, this is how business has got to be. But we're critically short on leaders, both in business and in the world in general. And Jenny, she's a leader in the best sense of the way. She wants everybody to succeed. She brings everybody up. It's not just the people she works with, but she wants to lift everybody up because that is just who she is. So I'm going to bring Jenny on here. And we're going to be of equal size here. Welcome, Jenny. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm pretty excited today because of what I know of you and our conversations and the stuff we share online. Kind of tell me about, I love your intro. I love your bio. How did you tell me a little bit about that? What are those words? Why are they strung together in the way they are? And what do they imply?
Well, that is actually what our talk is on today, how that came about. So when I share on our change is inevitable, but growth is optional. That's where all that came from. So
that is so fantastic. And gosh, what a great segue, right? I didn't even realize I was stepping into it, but there we go.
And the funny thing is that, and just have to tell you what you just said about being a lighthouse is what I hope when I leave that I will set about me. And in my office, you can see a lot of ocean things. And I hope to be a lighthouse because it is. There's a lot of people being pounded with the waves of adversity in this life. And a lighthouse leads them out of the dark. And that's what I hope to do. So,
well, I tell you, I know personally that you make an impact on me, and I share a lot of your thoughts and what you share, with my clients and with people I know. And I appreciate the heck out of you. So thank you. I'm so blessed that I stumbled across you. We've got some people joining us this morning. Want to do some shout outs. Tia, she says, good morning, Jenny and Sean. Good morning, Tia. She's live from her camper.
All right.
She's living the Minnesota life already. Good for you. It's starting to finally warm up here. So, and then I always like to call him our Grand Poobah, Travis Sims. He's live from Cottage Grove, right up the road from me. He says, hi, Tia. Welcome to the AGC. Oh, where'd he go? Okay, it just moved a little. Welcome to the AGC virtual stage, Jenny Mason, Travis says.
Thank you.
Carrie Sweet, who is a friend of mine and also one of my clients, says, good morning. You ready to dive in, Jenny?
I'm ready.
All right, I am going to remove me, and you are going to be our focal point. So, everybody, Jenny Mason.
Good morning, everybody. My talk this morning is on change is inevitable, but growth is optional. If we don't grow, we exist, but we're not fully living. And in this crazy world we're living in, change, I guarantee you, it's inevitable. But the question is, are you going to grow? Because it's optional. You have a choice. And sometimes change can be unpleasant, unwelcomed. downright hard. This in-between state of letting go of what we've known to allow for something new to emerge can be quite frightening. So we have to not drown in the seas of woes me. We have to fight, and we have to fight to not shrink back from the monsters of fear. If we take our focus, though, off of the waves, the fears, ourselves, change truly will be transformational. And so often, change, it's necessary. It's a catalyst for us to grow. Unanticipated events have a way of getting us out of our comfort zone, don't they? And about 3 years ago, in my family, we had an unanticipated event. My dad had a quadruple bypass, and that spurred my daughter to pursue her calling to be a nurse. She'd known it since she was a little girl, but she'd let fears hold her back. She felt, I can't do that. But it shook her enough to say, I can. This is what I was called to do. And so my husband was like, well, she's not going to go by herself. We're not going to just feed her out to the wolves and let her get in debt. So we'll go with her. And man, I bucked. I thought, are you kidding me? I lived in a mountain paradise. I had Forest Service behind me, got on my four-wheeler, escaped. Insane. So to go to a city, we didn't know where we were going to live. That first month we stayed in hotels. So you got to imagine kids, dog, and school's about to start. And I found myself freaking out. I was focusing on the waves. I was focusing on all the negativity. And I definitely was beginning to sink in the seas of woes me. And I was like a fish out of water. I was floundering around and questions started to rise. I felt like I was missing something. I wasn't fulfilled. What was my purpose? So I started asking God, what gift do I have? Because I felt, I really didn't have one. I didn't have the gift of teaching or ministry. I wasn't a big leader, So I started asking myself, well, what really sets my soul on fire? What do I really like to do? And I realized I love encouraging others in this race we call life, because it's hard. And there's not always going to be those people out there. You feel like you're alone. So I felt, but how am I going to do that? So then the wells, the what ifs started rolling in, the waves excuses. I thought, I'm not on social media. I don't have a title. I don't have followers. I'm not famous. And then the what ifs started rolling in, were even bigger. What if people don't like me? What if they think I'm stupid? What if? And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm in a cyclone and I'm going to stay stuck here unless I take action. And so I put myself out there and I took action. I got on Facebook, just a few connections, just under 1,000 on LinkedIn, barely any on Instagram. And I made a commitment that I would post something positive, encouraging, inspiring, or hope-filled, motivational, or thought-provoking every single day, whether I felt like it or not. And believe me, there are days that the things I put out there are for myself, just as much as everybody else, because it's a fight. And it's hard putting myself out there because we're programmed to believe we're something. If we have all these followers, oh, he got how many shares? Oh, how many likes? And you're just waiting to hear that endorphin releasing ping that, oh, I got a like, let's go check it. And then I realized again, it's about me. It's not about others. And I was making it focused on me. So I continued putting myself out there, sharing my heart, my mind, and I've continued doing that pretty much every day for the last 3 years. Do I have a bazillion followers, likes, shares? No. But I remind myself it's not about popularity. It's not about shares or likes. It's bigger than me. And if I can inspire, motivate, or help just one person, it's worth it. And I can't tell you how fulfilling it is when I get a message from somebody across the country that I've never met that says, because of you, I was able to hold my head above the water. I was no longer sinking. That is so much more rewarding than winning any game I've won, any sales contest, being number one. It's truly amazing when you're living for a purpose bigger than you are. Was the whole change thing easy? Absolutely not. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Seeing that you're actually making a difference fuels the flames to keep going. And it's truly fulfilling to do that. And I have found the more I continually keep focusing on others, the more I grow. So when we look for the opportunity and believe something good's going to come from it, it's truly freeing and transformational. When COVID hit, our landlord decided he wanted his house back. And you know what? I didn't freak out. Even though rent prices had gone crazily insane, my daughter still has 2 years left of school. So what are we going to do? So looked and didn't freak out. And when we had 1 week left and still no place to go, I still hadn't freaked out. And why? Because I switched my focus from the waves to the one who provides, from being afraid to being excited to see what door was going to open. And you know what? 6 days before we had to be out, we found the perfect house for my family. And I tell you what, in the last 3 years, I have had transformational growth mentally and spiritually. And the igniter was change. People who successfully navigate change have positive beliefs. They fully believe change will bring something positive into their lives. Something exciting is waiting on the other side of this transition. It's truly how you perceive things. Changing fear into an excitement. You welcome it. What you focus on grows. If we focus on me, our feelings, this stinks, we're going to buck off, we most likely are going to. And we're going to drown in the seas of woes me. But if we keep telling ourselves something good is happening, something good is coming, believing that there is an answer, and there is always an answer, it will keep you in the game. Our bodies, they don't know the difference between excitement and fear. You get butterflies and we begin to sweat. So by quickly turning that thought of fear into excitement, your whole outlook changes, and most often the outcome. I can remember even living over in the mountain paradise, and I hated driving on slick roads. I would freak out. I would just think, I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going. But once I started utilizing that of thinking I'm excited to go to Jackson, I'm excited to go to lunch with my daughter, I'm excited, my hands, yeah, they still sweat. But you know what? I was excited. So I felt great instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. So putting positive action into negative emotion, no matter how small or how little you think that action is, it will change the emotion. Even if it's just getting up when the alarm clock goes off instead of hitting snooze, even if it's just making your bed, even if it's just one little thing, consistency compounds. And that is the key. So when we look back at almost every time change came, it brought something positive into our lives. We may not see it or feel it at the time, but it does eventually. And finding your purpose, it tends to sit in the intersection between what we care about and where we can contribute most to helping others. Connect to something that ignites a spark of emotion in you and relentlessly pursue what sets your soul on fire. So I leave you with this. I encourage you, if change comes, or if you're not feeling fulfilled, take the focus off the waves, the fears, yourself, or whatever is keeping you in the comfort zone. Whatever is keeping you on that couch. And ask yourself, how can I help someone? How can I serve them? How can I encourage them? How can I bring values to others? Because you, yes, you are uniquely qualified to serve others. That is our purpose here. And change can be the compass to finding your purpose. And the key for a compass to be effective is to always take that next step. And when you do, you will find true success. You'll find significance. And once you've tasted significance, success, my friend, never tastes the same. So change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I hope you choose to grow. I'm rooting for you.